I'm in, and thank you so much for all your emails and Facebooks and all your comments and phone calls. The show's called Start a Biz Radio Network. Love to have you aboard. So honored that you listen. Aaron Scott Young and the coach. AaronScottYoung.com is my partner, and we're doing this show to give back. This is our way of donating our time, our energy, and more importantly, our brains. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? We know stuff you don't know. And right now, we're going to be talking about something that if you own a business, or you have a relative that owns a business, or you have a relative that's been in business a while and they've been stuck, this subject matter, I've been stuck myself before, and I just want to say I'm dedicating the show today to Justin Powers, a young man who's starting his life all over again. And Justin, if you're going to own a business, the one thing you want to do is get a team around you. You want to get mentors. You want to get people in your life that have been to the mountaintop, people that are problem solvers, people that have the ability to think differently than you. You're an expert in your business. If you're going to open up an ice cream store with me and Kyle, we're experts in delivering ice cream to kids, but maybe we need help, and so here comes Aaron Scott Young. He's working on a program, Justin, called the Unshackled Owner. Now, why that name? It's kind of a different name, the Unshackled Owner. Not heard that before.
So, Coach, we have a beautiful home down on the Oregon coast, right on the beach. Beautiful place. And this last summer, we built it thinking that the kids would love to go down there and spend the summers. But what we found out was our kids hated to go down there for very long because all their friends were back in town. And so for the first time ever this summer, my wife and I went down. We were down there for 5.5, 6 weeks. And as I was down there at the beach, enjoying the beach house in Lincoln City, Oregon, and just having a great time, people all over the country were saying, "Hey, Aaron, we need to set a meeting with you, or we need to do something with you, when you get done with your vacation." And then when I was still there, they're like, "You're still at the beach? How could you still be at the beach? You've been at the beach forever." And I thought, maybe other people can't do this. Maybe they can't go and stay 6 weeks and not go off on a business trip and not take a bunch of meetings and not do a lot of stuff. I did my weekly management meeting, and that was it. And otherwise I went out there and walked on the beach and went to movies and binge watched The Blacklist and just had a great time. But it's because I realized when I was down there, I thought, I learned years ago how to build companies where I wasn't chained to my desk. And so many people that I work with are utterly enslaved by, indentured servants to their company. And I said, I can teach people how to not be chained to the desk. I can teach them how to break the shackles and live a life that's much more abundant. And it's not a bunch of woo-woo stuff, Coach. It's just good, solid business principles. You don't ignore your company. You don't throw it off to somebody else and say, "Here, you do it." What you do is you organize it so you can always manage it, but without having to be in the middle of it, if that makes sense. It's an asset that I own, not just a glorified job that I have to go to every day.
What do you think? Somebody now started a business. They're maybe their third or fourth year in. Your first year isn't necessarily your toughest unless it's a restaurant business, but your first year in some ways is your easiest because you have so much enthusiasm, dedication, you're putting in extra hours, but then pretty soon, like anything else, you've been there, done that, and it starts, things start to set in. Routine sets in. If you don't have great habits, those bad habits start to affect you. What's the one thing when you're doing your workshops and your seminars and all that, and people come up to you, what's the one thing people are asking you when they come up to you and you talk about this unbridled, unshackle yourself? What do they say to you?
Yeah. What they always come to is say, "I need to make more money. I'm working so hard. I'm on this wheel and I'm just running as fast as I can. I'm not getting ahead. What do I do?" And see, here's the problem, Coach. Almost everyone that I meet stays in startup mode. They started a business. They had an idea. They were good at doing something. They put up their little sign and said, "I'm open for business," and they started doing their thing. And even as they've added employees or as they've taken on more clients, they've never quit acting like a startup. And I meet people that are 10, 15, 20 years in business and are still acting like a startup, where the owner is in the middle of everything, approving everything, having an opinion on everything, signing everything. I mean, it's like,
because they get in these habits. They get into, especially males, they get in these habits and they get in these routines, and it's hard to get somebody out of the routine. And males have a difficult time asking for help. It took me years to really be so authentic that I could say, "Aaron, can you help me, man? Can I call you up?" And this is how guys are, man. We try to fix everything ourselves, and that's why we stay in startup mode.
See, well, that's the problem, though, because I don't, I have, 40 employees or something. I'm not asking anybody for help. I'm making an investment in human resources. I'm making an investment. And I'm saying, okay, I have this task that needs doing, and I need to find the right person, young person, old person, the right attitude, maybe some of the right skills, but most of the skills can be taught. In most jobs, you can teach the skill. What you can't teach is the attitude. And so what you do is you say, okay, I'm going to
That's the soft skill, right? Isn't that the...
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's the soft skills. So, yeah, you can teach hard skills, but how do you teach somebody to come to work with the enthusiasm, with a smile, like Justin? He's happy to be here. How do you teach that, Aaron Scott?
Yeah, it's a good question, and you know what it is? There's really 3 steps, and in this program, we spend 3 weeks, a week each on these steps. The first thing is you have to know exactly what you're looking for, what you're investing in. So what is that resource that I'm investing in and bringing into my operation? And you have to onboard that person properly. You have to know exactly what the job description is, exactly what the resources available to them are, exactly how you're going to train them. See, most of us hire people, and then we just kind of throw them to the wolves.
Whoa. Slow this whole thing down. Time out. I'm listening to you here. You have, obviously, management skills. I'm not a manager. You're more of a manager than I am.
I'm not a manager at all.
Okay,
I'm a crappy manager, actually.
Me too. I'm really a crappy manager.
I'm a good designer. I'm a good architect. I'm not a good general contractor.
But let me. I've got a point here. I'm trying to make a point.
Okay.
Let me try to make the point. So the point that I'm trying to make is most people are not good managers. They may know how to craft something, make something. Doctors are good at doctoring. Doctors, you've heard, traditionally are not good managers. Most of us are not good managers. Learning management skills is not exactly why we go to school. And so
but Coach, that doesn't exempt you from the responsibility as the owner of the company to manage your assets.
No. So I was going to finish my point here. Sometimes I just get.
I'm sorry, boss.
Sometimes I just
get adamant about
Sometimes I just get long-winded and get on these rants. Let me just finish my rant here. So that's what I'm saying: is get out of your comfort zone. I think what you're saying is what I'm saying is find somebody that knows how to manage. Is that what you're saying? Get a resource, right?
Well, no, what I'm really saying is eventually you'll hire managers. At first what you have to do is say, who's that first key employee that I really need to bring on? And what is it exactly that they're going to do? Now, maybe they're going to be a bookkeeper because you're terrible at the financial stuff.
No, I'm good at the financial stuff, but no, the first guy you're going to hire is Adage IT. Are you kidding me? You want to get a computer guy. Today, think about it, Aaron, being selfish now, isn't the most important person. If you have computers, don't you want that computer guy like Adage IT here in Southern California? Look, when I call Adage, and this sounds like a commercial, it's not, but I have computers stuff all day. I was getting the word computer crap problems every day. They solve them for me. So I'm saying hire a computer guy would be the first guy I hire, and then the second guy I'd hire is Laughlin USA because I need documents. So people try to create their own documents, and you wonder why they wind up in court. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, okay, so that's good, and that's good. You do need to have your computer set up. You do need to have your corporation set up properly. You do need to have your corporate formalities done properly. That's the foundation. But here's what I'm talking about. you hire your weaknesses. Right? You leverage your strengths and hire your weaknesses.
That's a good one.
But you have to have a specific plan of what you're going to do with that person who's going to fill in a gap for you. You don't just expect them to magically do it, and you don't treat them as though they're now one of the owners of the business, so they've got to come in as a resource for you. And then once you've got that person,
I'm confused on these big words. You use big words like resource. I don't know what they mean, but I do get what you just said. I love that. I just wrote that down. Hire your weakness. So
here, you want a better one?
Stay with me. I love that. I want to go down this road just with you for a second. I love what you just said. Hire your weakness, but if most of us have a little bit of a control issue, how do we get past this issue of letting, because you work with entrepreneurs like I do, we're kind of control freaks. How do you get that entrepreneur to hire his weakness? How do you get him to loosen up?
You're a basketball or a football coach, right?
Yeah, baseball and football.
Okay, let's just go with football analogy for a minute. So you know the whole playbook. You know how all the different positions are supposed to operate.
Right.
You know if somebody's running something properly, right?
Yep.
But you're watching. You guys watch film.
Yep.
You have a scoreboard.
Yep.
Right? You have a scoreboard. You're keeping statistics. Everything is measured. That's how you keep control. That's how you manage your business. You have scoreboards. You keep statistics. You have expectations. You know how fast somebody's supposed to run the 40. You know how many times they're supposed to receive, be able to get the ball. You know how many yards they should be able to run.
Right.
You know how they should be able to tackle and block. You know that stuff. So what you do with your employees is this is where most people fail, and why I've been lucky enough to make a lot of money building companies, is because you have to know exactly why did I draft that player? Why did I bring them on? What did we need in our offense or defense for them? Why did I bring them onto the team? What training am I giving them so they can know exactly how I run my team? How do I teach them the plays? And then how do I keep statistics, and they know every day if they're winning or losing, if they're succeeding or failing. If you teach correct principles and then let people basically govern themselves during the day, and then you have a scoreboard and they're measured every week, and you can see that scoreboard at a glance. This is how all of my companies are set up. Then you always know if you're sitting on the beach in Mexico, if you're watching the northern lights in Alaska, if you're on the farm in Washington, or you're in the Santa Clarita Valley doing your radio show, you always know where all your people are, and they know where they are. And that way it keeps everybody honest. There's a great saying, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerates. And I'm telling you, if you get specific, brother, you will get rich. If you don't get specific, if you deal in generalities, you will rarely have success. When you deal in specifics, you will rarely have failure. There's brilliance in giving that little investment into detail, and then it works beautifully forever. You can build multi-million-dollar companies and run them from your farm.
Amen, brother. Amen. That is Aaron Scott Young, my partner on a show we call Start a Biz Radio Network. You need to put this in your calendar. You need to make this show an appointment show, because we can change your life. If you listen to us every week, I promise you, my dear listeners, especially those of you that are starting a business or own a business, you're going to pick up one idea. I mean, just what Aaron said a minute ago, hire your weakness. You're going to get words, phrases, ideas, and stories from us every week on our show called Start a Biz, and this will turn your life around. I promise you. I wouldn't say this to you. I wouldn't make this promise to you, but you got to make an appointment to come and listen. We know if you're not listening. We know if you're not listening. All right. So let me ask you this. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant.
We see when you're sleeping. We know when you're awake.
Oh, we do. We know everything. Remember, there's electronics, and we know stuff. We know stuff.
The NSA is a big sponsor of the show.
We know stuff that you don't know. Incidentally, write this it's easy. Write it down. Laughlin USA. Check out the website, Laughlin USA. If you're deciding, if Aaron, you ever decide to sell your ranch up there, you call David Bartels. There's nobody better. I'm write the name down. David Bartels, help you sell. There's nobody better than selling real estate than this guy. Look, you're not going to write his phone number down. Just Google him. David Bartels, help you sell. And this guy will sell your property at a savings that you won't believe. You're going to save $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 when you sell your home. David Bartels. Just remember the name.
Help you sell.
Help you sell. Help you sell.
The letter U.
Right.
Help the letter U sell. Help you sell.
All right. So getting back to our show, Start a Biz. Yep. So this is brilliant what you're saying. Because your analogy of the football coach was perfect. You've got to you know the playbook. You know the playbook, but you've got to have enough guts and courage to release all your control issues, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I'm an entrepreneur. I had control issues when I started my business. I did, Justin. Don't laugh. I had a lot of control issues. I would go into my HR department. I'd follow you out to the car. I'd want to see if your car was clean. Seriously, if it was dirty. I want to know if you smoked. I didn't want smokers working for me. People that smoke, you know what they do? They take smoke breaks. Why should an employee take a smoke break for 10 or 15 minutes while everybody else is working their butt off? So I didn't hire smokers.
Let me jump in on you, brother. Let me say, if you have a scoreboard system, if they have specific objectives, they know if they're succeeding or failing.
Can we sell this? Is this something? I don't want to give this idea away. Is it something we can package and sell, the scoreboard? Huh?
This is what I teach people. This is what I teach people.
I'll make the scoreboard. I'm not giving nothing away. We're already charging people to call here, so...
$500 a call and $5 million.
Well, we had so many calls last week. It disrupted the show. Don't call anymore. Let us rant and rave and talk about what we like to talk about. But I like this scoreboard. I want to try to make money with this thing.
We do. All of our employees do this. It's just a great program. What it is it's you taking affirmative action, affirmative control of your business. You don't have to be a taskmaster. You don't have to be following people out to their car. All you do is say, look, I've hired you for a specific outcome. I'm making an investment. We don't have expenses. One of my mentors, a guy named Keith Cunningham, talks about we don't have expenses, we have investments. And so,
the biggest,
what am I investing in? Yeah. What's that?
I'd say the biggest investment is you. Make an investment in you. We got to take a break, and then when we come back on the show we call Start a Biz Radio Network. His name is Aaron Scott Young, and you can know why he's my partner. He's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We're going to come back, and we have only a couple of minutes when we come back, but can we talk about something that I talk about all the time in my workshops? That's fear. Have the courage to fail, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back to a show we call Start a Biz, heard all over the country on KHTS on the app, one of the best apps in radio. Download it, and you can take Aaron Scott Young and the coach with you while you're at the airport, while you're in traffic. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to our show every week, we're on 3 or 4 times a week, you're going to learn something. Your life will change, and I promise you, you'll have more money in the bank at the end of the year. Look, there's a reason Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are undefeated. There's a reason my Oregon Ducks have, in the last 15 years, are dominated college football. It's because they use a system. It's just what Aaron Scott Young said a few minutes ago. You have to have a scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, call us, and we'll sell it to you for $20,000. We don't have one, but we're going to make one up. I love that concept of the scoreboard. How can you start your business without knowing where the goal lines are on Monday? Anyway, that'll be another show, and I'm going to work with you to develop electronic scoreboard that people can download. All right. Have the courage, ladies and gentlemen, to fail. I think so many people, Aaron, early on in their life, and Justin, this is meant for you and your mommy. Is your mommy listening to the show? Finally, she is listening. You've done a great job, Mrs. Powers. I need to congratulate you. You've got to be able to fail. You've got to be able to learn to take risk. Aaron and I have failed hundreds of times in our lives. We have lost money. anybody that tells you they haven't failed is either Donald Trump's kids or related to somebody at Disneyland. Am I lying? I mean, we all fail, but have the courage to fail, right?
Well, yeah, you got to fail forward, right? That's the goal. Fail forward. You've got to make sure that whatever you did, you learn from it. And there's a fellow that I met one time who lost $200 million. He was a big real estate mogul in Texas. He was doing great. He lost the entire thing. He overextended himself. And the market shifted. It wasn't in this last correction, but it was back in the 80s. He lost $200 million. And a lot of people would have just caved in. You know what he said? He said, I'll tell you what, that was just tuition. It was the tuition I paid for an advanced college course in finance. And he said that was the most valuable class I ever took. And guess what? He's rebuilt his fortune twice over again. And
that's a great story. That's a great story.
What are you going to learn from it? What are you going to learn from the failure? So Thomas Edison, right? Somebody said, how did it feel to fail 10,000 times on the light bulb? He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I learned 10,000 things that don't work.
No, it's true. I mean, it's true. It's absolutely true. And if we could leave somebody in the next week, the next month, one thing to take with them from the show today is that fear is in all of us. We all have fear at different levels for different things. And fear prevents us from taking risk. And if you can't take a risk in the business world, especially today, it's almost impossible. So you're going to stay at that dead-end job, that boring job, the job that you hate, the job that's giving you an ulcer and all kinds of crap, and then you go home and drink and do drugs. Stop it. Listen to our show. It's free. Now, if you buy our scoreboard, that's something else, right?
There's an
pay a lot of money for our scoreboard. A lot of money. Trust me.
That's my scoreboard.
It's your scoreboard. Great.
Listen.
You just cut me out. You just cut me out. Cut me back in. Come on, cut me back.
We'll make a deal. Listen, there's an old saying that I didn't understand when I was a young man. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if you go out and you work in the entrepreneurial world for a little while, you come to really understand nothing ventured, nothing gained. What's the other one? Fortune favors the bold.
You're not going to start throwing cliches at our listeners. I'll give you one. Here, let me give you a cliche, you goat hunter.
Bring me one.
Okay. This is a Greek from the Greek philosopher. Are you ready? Don't tell them where your goat's tied up.
Never betray your.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them where your goat's tied up. I can throw as many cliches at you as you can throw at me. You're a goat hunter,
that's not a real clip. But why? Okay, why are these things cliche though? Why do we know?
Because they work. Because they work. They're
true.
They're tested over time.
They're true, and and most people just hear them and they go in one ear, out the other, and it's because people know about something, but they don't know the thing. They've heard about it. They've seen it on TV. They heard it in a book. Somebody mentioned it in a class one day. They know about it, but they don't know it. And until you know it, you don't understand those old cliches like nothing ventured, nothing gained. But once you've been through the ringer a couple times, you go, oh, I get it. And you know what? Once you start getting, I'm not even going to say it because it's not fair. But, every day I look at my bank account and here's the deposit, here's the deposit, here's the thing, here's the thing. And you know why? It's because you go out and you take risks, you organize businesses, you make affiliations with other companies, you make referrals, you do this, and after a little while, it's funny how money just kind of shows up in your bank account. But if you never step out and you know what, you said something earlier about, what did you say about,
never tell them where your goat's tied.
Never tell them where your goat's tied. Yeah,
tied up.
You talked about something about people focus on the problems instead of the solutions. And
Yeah, no, that's right. And then we may do a whole show on that. You're listening to Start a Biz with Aaron Scott Young and the coach, Coach Tunick. Go to CoachTunick.com, and you can buy my scoreboard for thousands of dollars. We only have a minute left. First of all, I love doing the show with you today.
1 minute.
1 minute. I love doing the show with you called Start a Biz. You are so smart, Aaron, that really, if people listen to us every week, not me, but if they listen to you every week, they're absolutely going to improve their lives. They are going to improve their lives. It's called Start a Biz Radio Network. Tell your friends and quit calling. Do not call us. We're taking too many calls. We'll see you next week, Aaron Scott Young at aaronscottyoung.com.
Right, and CoachTunick.com. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great holiday. We look forward to talking to you again.
See you next week.